February 4th, 2025. Well, we've got past Groundhog's Day, and Puxatawny Phil said there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter, but at least immediately after, at least we're having things warmed up quite a bit. So, at any rate, so I guess the topic today is we can say Donald Trump, the adventure continues. Because after the last thing, I was kind of worrying what could happen. Well, apparently it didn't. Trump basically threatened Armageddon and then basically negotiated a reasonable deal on the basically about the drug issues and the illegal immigration from both Canada and Mexico. Of course, the illegal immigration from Mexico is 100 times as great as that from Canada, and probably the fentanyl and the drugs are probably similar. And so, but at any rate, apparently he got his commitments on both sides for 10,000 troops from the Mexican side to guard the border and cut down on the trafficking. And on the other hand, on the Canadian side, they're going to have helicopters and 10,000 something law enforcement people committed to it or something like that. I don't think they're going to be actually use the Canadian Army for it. So anyway, so it looks like that's good. Nothing really bad. Basically, it came out pretty good. And of course, the tariffs have been postponed for 30 days for further negotiations, and we'll see what's being demanded on those and how that works out. There are certain, I don't know. It's hard to know exactly on Mexico. I mean, what they're going to do on Mexico side. On the Canadian side, I think there may be some issues about. I know that Trump is raising issues about like banking and various things. However, the problem on the Canadian side ultimately, I think, is that when it comes down to manufactured goods, I don't think there's any real surplus of Canadian over American in the trade to speak of. The main thing they bring in is raw materials, natural resources, your oil, lumber, minerals, and so forth, and that's the main surplus that they bring in, and we'll see what happens on that. I don't think in the short run we're going to be able to replace it with domestic production. Long run we could if it was a national priority, but why use up all of our resources when Canada has plenty? We can use up their resources. Is kind of my attitude. We'll see how that shakes out. But I think overall Trump came out of it looking pretty good after all, except he shook up the market for a day or two here and lost some people a little bit of money, actually. Not a lot, but I think it'll recover pretty much. But the thing is, it is kind of an interesting approach to things. I think he likes the attention. And of course, he's got the tariff on China of 10%, which is interesting less. Sounds like that's more like one he intends to really put in place for real rather than just as a threat or an ultimatum. And that one might be more long term. Of course, it's probably less serious of an issue ultimately, but it won't affect the prices as much and as this other one would have. So that's interesting. So he's doing pretty good on that, and then on other things, things are moving ahead. It looks like I guess we've got Pam Bondi cleared through the committee now, and we're waiting to get a floor vote to get her confirmed, and we really need that one. By the way, if you like these videos, please give me a like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Or you can also find me on Rumble with the address that's given in the description below. Yeah, so if you want to have a dual subscription or something, because that would be nice, just in case YouTube decides to get rid of me one day, huh? But yeah, so things are moving pretty good. We've got Kristi Noem is definitely on the job as the of Homeland Security. And she's out there on a horse patrolling the border with the Border Patrol back on horseback. Remember when they went after the Border Patrol people on horseback in the Biden years, a completely false charge that they were whipping the immigrants with their reins. And in reality, that wasn't what was happening at all. It was a totally false charge, and went after these guys. Well, they're back on the saddle now, so that's good to see. And we're, moving ahead, that's always what we want to see. We got Bergman, I guess, he's Interior, and of course, Marco Rubio's Secretary of State has been down in the Caribbean area, I guess you say, Venezuela and El Salvador and I see where else. So anyway, he's out there making deals, and I guess we got some people that were involved in a kind of an attempt against Maduro. I think they were, and maybe some other hostages that got released, and I think that's who was released. I know they came back, and that's good. So, and he's also dealing with the Panama Canal, and it looks like we're close to making a deal. It sounds like basically what will happen is that the Chinese company that's running the ports on the canal will, I guess, when their contract is up, they won't be renewed, and we'll probably get an American company or at least somebody we trust, not China, to take it over. So there presumably won't be a need for an invasion there. I don't know where you had to threaten invasion to get that or not. And I guess the other thing we're trying to do is get fair pricing on the ships going through there, so that American ships don't pay more than anybody else has to. So I think that may have been an issue, and I don't know much about that one, but I know that has been raised. So it looks like Trump's moving along with a lot of executive orders. I know this USAID has been the Elon Musk, I guess you want to say, I guess he has found that to be basically not infested with worms, but just a ball of worms or something like that. And so they want to, I don't know if they're really going to end it completely as an organization. That's probably more hyperbole, maybe, but they are apparently going to bring it under direct control of the State Department, and Rubio's appointed somebody to actually manage it. The flow down, it was assigned to him, and he's flowing it down to somebody else to manage it and make sure that they don't, abuse their power. I mean, they have a lot. They're like a big slush fund of foreign aid, and they can spend it on a lot of these NGOs, and a lot of them are responsible for a lot of, bringing in illegal immigrants and helping that out. And remember, where were they getting all the support from to come here illegally? Well, guess what? Another thing is that the CIA has a lot of activities that are infiltrated into that in various countries, and some of them involved in things. I'm sure they're responsible for the 2014 revolt in Ukraine, which got the Ukraine war only spun up over the years. And so there needs to be some reform there, and he's making progress there. And then on the other hand, he's beginning to pick up a lot of lawsuits over various things that the Doge group is doing, and other things, and executive orders to try to suspend funding. And he's been firing a large number of people, like I guess all the FBI people that worked on the January 6th prosecutions, and the prosecutors and the people that went after him at Mar-a-Lago and so forth, and the investigations into Trump himself. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. There's certain higher level executive positions I think he clearly can just fire if he doesn't like them. The people that are actually, although I think that some of those people, depending on their history, can go back to it legally, go back to a GS level, up through 1 through 15 level positions. There may well be some lawsuits out of that too. I mean, attempts to force. That's another reason why we need to get Pam Bondi on the job, because there's going to be some lawsuits to field, and we need to have the Justice Department up to full power to field those lawsuits and win them, because that the left is going to push back in that sort of way, as well as their notorious delaying tactics we're seeing on the appointments. So that's kind of about how it's going there. I think we kind of keep up with things. So, and I guess I understand also, just like I predicted, by the way, that the Governor Hochul of New York is trying to delay a lot the replacement, for the House member that was going to become the ambassador to UN, and Lee Stefanik, that's the name, and I said all along, this is not a good idea to do that, because you're going to, with such a small margin, we maybe not be able to get back to 220 votes for quite a while. And I thought that was, I really think if she hasn't resigned yet, really they should just back away from that. She should just stay in the House. If they really want her to get that other job, I just think she should just stay. I mean, I don't, but I guess if they want to take those risks, they can. I guess I'm more of a play it the safe type person than Trump is. But anyway, so that's kind of how things are going. The adventure is continuing, and I think he's getting a lot done. And there may be a little trouble with Tulsi Gabbard, although I understand now that Susan Collins is going to support her, but there's somebody else. I think it's a newbie from Indiana that's got some. Maybe he needs a call from Trump or something. And of course we need to get Kash Patel in there absolutely because I think that'll be really good having him on the FBI. So anyway, well, that's kind of how it's been going. So anyway, that's where I think we're making progress. We'll see what comes next. And I guess we'll, of course, be posting this on YouTube and Rumble, and the addresses of my social media accounts are in the description below. All for now.